Okay, we're live here, Lee. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. A little bit nervous.
You're nervous. Oh, don't be nervous. Trust me, everybody's so excited to hear what you have to say. I mean, absolutely. But I understand. It's always it's funny when you do these lives and stuff like that. They're live, so anything can happen. A little tiny bug just flew in front of my face. So anything can happen. I hope I don't swallow that while we're
Yeah.
doing this because that would be really embarrassing. So all right, we're off to a great start. So anybody want to drop a comment, say hello, anything like that? Hey, Jay. Hey, Niels. We should be broadcasting live also in the iCoin Pro Facebook group. So if you remember that, please drop a comment. Be calm, Lee. Anthony says you're going to kill it. Jay, awesome to see you guys. Yeah, please drop some hearts, drop some likes, drop some cares. I keep hitting that care button by accident. I mean to haha something, and then I hit the care button. And I'm just, anyway, it's whatever. It's messing me up. But this is, for those who don't know or don't know what we're doing here today, we are going to be talking with Lee Tuputala, who is a full-time crypto day trader, actually has been for many, many, many moons now, many moons. So, like a lot of the other people that are in iCoin Pro, I think people want to hear your stories because it's, you don't have a Wall Street background. You were not you don't have a financial degree. This is not something I think you thought you would be doing in your life, but now you are. So it's kind of cool. I got a couple questions that I want to ask you so that everybody can hear your journey because I think it's absolutely fascinating and it's a great story to share. I think more and more people, need to know the power of what they can do, average people with the micro profit system over a longer period of time. And I think that's what's so cool. And you're going to hear from Lee how long she's been doing this, which is even more exciting. So we're going to hear Lee's story. So again, everybody say hello, drop a heart, drop a comment. You can share this video if you'd like, please do. Share it and let other people know about iCoin Pro. If you're an affiliate or you're a member of iCoin Pro, absolutely tell them to get back with you, and get more information. So with that, Lee, good morning. It is morning your time.
It is.
Early morning. It's afternoon where I am. Lee, why don't you tell everybody where you're from?
Hey guys, I'm Lee. I'm originally from New Zealand. But I currently reside in Brisbane, Australia. So I'm a Kiwi who lives in Australia.
And it's early. It's early where you are, but I know you've been getting up early. You've been on like a strict exercise schedule. You have some goals and stuff that you're working on. But it's great. I really appreciate you getting up, and I know everybody else does appreciate you doing this. Sometimes it's a little tough to schedule these things with the diverse international amazing community that we have for iCoin Pro. I know you help host a lot of the Zoom trainings, the live interactive Zoom trainings that we do. And I guess you figured out some magic thing to figure out when to schedule all these so everybody can pretty much get on.
I actually have a really good system that helps schedule it for me, and it's called the iCoin Pro Forum.
Yes. Yeah. And we just added that calendar in, which is brilliant. Paul, our CEO, just added that. And it's a great calendar because it automatically adjusts to the person's local time zone. So when you have people from Australia, New Zealand, UK, Africa, US, Canada, I mean, literally all over Asia, all over the world, boy, that calendar is so handy. So they can immediately see what time, what time those are happening in their local time zone. So, yep. And I know if anybody here is from the community, I know a bunch of them will drop comments about how much they appreciate you and everything that you do, for the iCoin Pro community. You're such a servant leader, so we appreciate that so much. Okay, let's talk. Let's get into this interview because for the people that are here, a lot of people are brand new to iCoin Pro or learning about it or learning about you and your journey. So first off, let's start with how long have you actually been with iCoin Pro?
I joined iCoin Pro at the end of May 2017. So going on 3 years, will be 3 years at the end of this month. So yeah, I joined in pre-launch back in 2017, and just never left, really.
Neither did I.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that, because I bet if you had a nickel for every person who says, Lee, I should have never left. I should have just stayed. I should have just kept doing it just like you did. I'd be where you are now, full time doing it, killing it, making great money doing this as a stay at home mom of 4. Okay. And that's one thing for those of you who don't know, Lee has 4 children. She's actually homeschooling all of them right now. Okay. So, but she's still getting in her trades. She's still, helping out in the community. I mean, you really are just like Superwoman right now. I mean, you really are. So, but, I'll tell you, yeah, so many people I've talked to too, they hear your story and it's just was following the system, the simple system, and just a lot of time over time, doing it over and over again.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's really it. That in a nutshell is just, once you learn it, just every day.
Mm-hmm.
Consistency, just do it over and over and over and go back, learn it again, then, implement what you've learned. That's really the only thing I've done.
It is incredibly simple. Once you've studied it and practiced it, it becomes so simple over time. Now, when you originally got involved, did you know anything about Bitcoin, cryptocurrency? Did you have some experience with it at all?
Yeah, I knew very little.
Mm-hmm.
When I say very little, the only thing I really knew about Bitcoin or cryptocurrency was just that it was some form of currency. I knew it was digital currency,
Mm-hmm.
but that was pretty much it. And the only experience I did have prior to iCoin Pro was, everyone else's experience, jumping into, scams, pretty much. That, and I did lose a bit of money. But that's pretty much all I knew, was that it was some type of currency. It was a currency. That's all.
Okay. So you were pretty new, I mean, overall. Did you just learn about Bitcoin in 2017 or get involved with it?
Yeah. I knew. I did. I think, I can't remember what year it was, but I did. I did overhear a conversation that my dad was having with one of his colleagues while they were working from home one day, and it was on Bitcoin. And that was probably the first and last time I heard about it until 2017.
Okay, so you didn't have Paul D'Souza beating you over the head for 9 months, and you weren't listening.
I wasn't like you were.
I listened to Paul a lot earlier. Thankfully, I did in 2017.
Yeah.
Okay, now, so your Bitcoin cryptocurrency experience was minimal. Yeah, 2017. For those who weren't around then, there were just so many of these weird scams popping up. They ended up all being Ponzi schemes, which are illegal schemes. But they said they were doing things like trading for you, and they would just take your Bitcoin and then they'd implode and then they'd run off with it. Is essentially what happened. So a lot of people, their first experience was, unfortunately, some of those companies. Fortunately, Lee, you found iCoin Pro, so that kind of changed your course at that point. But before you got into iCoin Pro, had you ever done trading, any type of stocks, day trading, anything like that before?
Justin, I actually had never, ever in my life seen a chart, an exchange chart, ever. I think maybe once or twice on the news when they would do, the kind of rundown of the stock market, but no, I really, no trade experience, had never looked at a chart, didn't know what candles were, didn't know what Bollinger Bands were, and I probably wouldn't even have been able to name an exchange. So I was brand new to trading.
Okay. Okay, good. So you learned everything that you know now about trading from iCoin Pro. Is that correct?
Yes, correct. Everything I know around trading, strategies, the charts, how to look for different kind of trends in the market. I have learned from the micro profit system, iCoin Pro.
Awesome. Okay, great. Now, a lot of people, we've talked about this already. So you are full time now. You don't. I know at the time when you found the company, if I remember correctly, you were at a position where you were looking to maybe get a job or do something, and you had a newborn at that time, I believe, right? Or
I just had my a couple of months before I joined iCoin Pro. I had just had my fourth child, my son, and I was actually due to go back to my job in September of that year. So I was on maternity leave at the time. I just remember thinking, and this was in hospital, just I think the day after I'd had him, that I remember thinking to myself, I was like, Lee, you've got to find something to do so that you don't have to miss out on another kid, go to work and then essentially miss out on all the firsts and really being a mum and being able to kind of guide my fourth child through life or through the early stages of life.
Wow. So this came at a great time for you, obviously. And let me ask you a question. So, okay, you got started in May. You had to go back to work in September. When did you know that you could potentially do this full time? And when did you actually go full time and were like, okay, I'm comfortable enough. I'm not going to have to go back to work.
I knew about probably a weekend from the first release of the first module in iCoin Pro.
Mm-hmm.
I had been sitting there learning it for about a week. And I remember jumping in to Zoom with our team, with our Hustle Hard fam. And just before that Zoom, I just had this vision, I'm like, hey, I could actually see myself being a full-time day trader and, never having to pitch to my family again, never having to sell anything online. If that, because I was looking for something to do so that I could stay home with my children. And for those who know me, for those who've known me throughout the last 3 years, you guys know I'm not a marketer. I don't know anything. I'm really kind of still trying to get my head around the marketing side of things. But that was never really me. I'm kind of an introvert. I love to stay home. This whole kind of period for me has been bliss because I don't like to leave my house if I don't have to. And so for me, I saw trading as something I could do without ever having to talk to anybody ever again. And make a full-time income. And, my family will know this, I'm very much a homebody. I love being, home. I have loads of visitors that come over because I don't like to leave my house. So for me, I saw that very early. And I would say about a week into studying that first module where I had just a vision that I could see myself as a full-time day trader making money, or making a full-time income on the exchange. And about, August, the end of August, I remember sitting with my husband and him and I were talking and he had asked me, how are you going with the trading? And I said to him, I was like, I'm actually going really well. By that time, I had already 10 times the initial balance that I started with. I started with $100, and it was actually more than 10 times that. And then him and I had a conversation, and I said to him, I can make this work. I really can make this work. And the reason I felt so confident that I could make it work was because the system, had everything there for me. I didn't have to calculate profits. I didn't have to worry about, the hard stuff, or as in calculating anything. Really calculating profits. For those who don't know, for newbies or anyone looking into iCoin Pro, we have really great tools that actually take the hard work out. We don't have to really put too much thinking into profits or how much profit we want to take, or even calculating anything, which allows us to really just focus on the strategy and focus on the learning and focus on practicing and trading, really. So I knew that quite early, and after that conversation with my husband, the very next day I actually submitted my resignation letter, and it was quite scary at the time, but for me it was sink or swim, and I was just like, nope, I'm swimming. I've been swimming for the last few months with iCoin Pro. I know I can really do this, and I actually became profitable, I would say about early December of 2017.
Yeah.
I was actually making some really good money. And for those who have been around since then, you'd know that 2017, we had a really, we were in such a really good bull market at the time where everyone was, crypto.
Everybody was a guru.
Yeah, that's it. And looking back now, I think that had a lot to do with the growth of my balance as well. That part, the bull market. We had coins like Sear Coin, for those who remember Sear Coin. Where I made tons of profit on that coin. We had Stellar, was another one that pumped. And so I became profitable, I would say, within 7 months of actually starting, and learning this.
Yeah.
And have really just worked, since then, since I did become profitable, just been working just to stay consistent and stay profitable. And that's really it.
Yeah. And so, okay, so what's fascinating, I want to make sure people heard this. You say you started with $100. Now you caught the uptrend of that 2017 bull market. There was just phenomenal trading all through that, which helped obviously propel your balance to a lot more, along with your trading and what you were doing. It was like the rising tide floats all boats. It was great. But what's kind of funny is, so $100 you started with. I think one time you mentioned that you had to skip pizza night a couple nights or a couple weeks. In order to put them, because you weren't like bankrolled, like you didn't have thousands of dollars that you could just open a trading account with at that time, so you had to put in the work basically to make that balance grow right from there.
Absolutely. I know our members, and I know I've shared many times about pizza night. What people actually, somebody asked me this the other day. They're like, "What's the deal with pizza night?" and what Justin just kind of is trying to say, or what I mentioned, was that back in 2000, or before coming into iCoin Pro, it was a struggle. Like I living financially was a struggle for us, and so I had to. I said to my husband, we kind of discussed it with my eldest boy, and I kind of said to my husband, I was like, hey, we're going to have to, kind of do something so that I can pay my membership, my subscription, and really learn this. And so we made the decision to cut pizza night, because we would have, maybe once a week or once every couple of weeks, we had pizza night. So we kind of skipped pizza night for about 4 months, I think, or 3 or 4 months. We skipped our pizza night, just so I could pay my membership, and I could keep learning, the micro profit system. And I tell you that 3 or 4 months, sacrificing pizza night, has really paid off. We, because now we can enjoy pizza night whenever we want, 7
days a week.
and we really can, and during this time, we've been, supporting our local businesses, our smaller businesses, the restaurants and stuff, during, with everything going on. And I'm actually quite grateful. I just said to my husband, I was like, I'm actually really, really grateful that we did decide to do that for 3 to 4 months, because now not only can we enjoy pizza night, whenever we want, we can kind of make a little bit of a difference in our community and helping by buying food from our local companies. So, yeah, pizza night. But pizza night will always be a special night in our house, and it always is.
Yeah, and it's great hearing you share that. I can also, like, now, obviously, you're so secure in what you do. You're such a pro. I mean, our system too, compared to even 2017, is just, we are so dialed in on what we're doing, and we're so good at what we do now with the micro profit system. But I couldn't imagine that at that time, it must have been pretty emotional to make that decision for you. And it's such a joy to me to be here now with you and have you share that story, because I mean, anyway, I couldn't be more happy for you, and I couldn't be more happy that I played a part in your story, in your life, and helped your family in that way through, what we've been able to do with the micro profit system. So anyway, it's given me chills, because I mean, it's just like, I don't know, I have a very purpose-driven life, and it's just wonderful when you can contribute, and really help somebody else out and change their lives in that way, and play a part in that. So anyway, just awesomely. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about your trading now. So what, you obviously, you trade full time now. I know your husband, he started trading a bit too recently. He's like, she can't have all the fun. So tell me about, like, what was probably your best trading day ever? And let's keep in mind, you started with $100 in 2017. So what's your best trading day you've ever had trading with the micro profit system?
My best trading day recently was about mid-March, where I made $3,900 in one day. And it's quite funny, because that day, Bitcoin actually dropped significantly. And, to still be able to profit and make $3,900 in one day was crazy. I'd never, when I first started, the micro profit system with iCoin Pro, I never imagined, well, I did actually, I did, our team will tell you, I did say, hey, we could make, maybe one day we'll be sitting there and make $1,000 in a day. But never did I imagine making $3,900 in a day. Wow. And prior to making that $3,900 a day, the most I had made in a day was about $2,000. And, even that's
only 2,000.
Even, just saying that is crazy, because for me, I growing up, I grew up in a very humble household. My parents were very hardworking. They still are hardworking parents. And, for me, even making $200 in a day would have been, my $200 days, I still remember, and I'm still really grateful for those days. But 3,900, when I calculate, I think you and I were messaging back and forth.
We were.
And then, all the rest of our traders were commenting in the chat box, and we were talking about trades popping off. But when I really sat down to calculate it, it blew my mind. With just that figure, that it's huge. It's huge. I would have been, happy. Especially with Bitcoin coming down. Like, I see everybody online talking about, hey, they only talk when Bitcoin starts to pump. The guru.
They don't talk about when it's going down.
That's it. Nobody ever. I never see people, comment, hey, cool, Bitcoin's going down. Woohoo! But the only people I see that are really excited when Bitcoin comes down is our iCoin Pro community.
Yeah.
Because, there's so much profit to take there. So much.
It's great. Yeah. Sometimes I think we like bearish markets a little bit more. Sometimes there's just a lot.
My favorite type of market.
Yeah.
Having started in a bull market and then going, being thrown straight into that early 2018 kind of
big learning curve.
Yeah. Really, my favorite type of market is now a bearish market. I will take a bearish market over anything bullish any day.
Cool. Now, and for people who aren't familiar with that, bearish means that the market is going down. Bullish means the market is going up. And here's another thing I want to say, and I'm going to throw a disclaimer in here because, this is real trading. These are real results, but this is not overnight. We're talking about Lee, you had your best day here. It was March of 2020. Lee started in 2017 trading with $100. And then by August, she started to feel confident enough that this was a potential career path for her, and then start pursuing it as a full-time, career. So as opposed to getting a part-time job, or something like that, she was able to just continue to do this. And you mentioned profitable in 2017. I think you mean like kind of you were starting to make enough money that it was like, wow, I really don't need to go to a job, basically at that point. But I really want to emphasize this to people. I mean, Lee, how many times do you think you've gone through the micro profit system and studied and restudied it, in your journey here, learning this skill?
I actually go through the micro profit at least, 2 modules a month, and just relearning and refreshing those modules. Yeah. And that's actually something that's extremely important to do. I mean, you can't just learn a system, in 2017 and then go 3 years without ever revisiting those modules and making sure that you're going back to do a refresher. I mean, you would have to do it in first aid. The reason I speak about first aid was because I used to work with first aid, but you wouldn't just get a first aid certificate, and get those qualifications and then not have to. Each year you actually have to refresh the CPR component.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same with any system you use. It's exactly the same with the micro profit system. Once you've learned it, keep going back at least, once a month. If you're not too sure, on anything, if you're still not 100% confident, and I shared this in Zoom last night with the team, we covered ladder buying, and I told the team, I was like, I'm still not 100% confident with ladder buying, so I'm constantly refreshing. I'm still going back to paper trade. If I'm not confident in taking it live, I'm paper trading, and that's okay, and it needs to be done. You need to refresh.
Yeah, and like anything else, it's as you do it and then study, practice, study, it becomes you become better and better. I mean, this is a skill, so it's not a science so much; it's an art, and you become a better crypto trading artist over time. I mean, really, you do. You mentioned there too, and I'm glad you actually mentioned that about your first aid and CPR studies and stuff. What did you do before you were here in iCoin Pro, being a full-time crypto day trader?
I won't mention the company. I work for a non-for-profit organization.
Okay.
I won't mention their name. But I worked as a training allocator for them, where we delivered first aid training to the whole. I worked for the New South Wales training allocator, where we delivered first aid training for the whole of New South Wales. Is one of the biggest states here in Australia. So I looked after multiple trainers. I looked after, we scheduled training just everywhere, all over New South Wales. So yeah, that's what I used to do, and I'm actually quite glad that I don't do that anymore. It was extremely stressful. People think learning trading is stressful. Compared, if I compare trading to what I used to do, it's a walk in the park compared to what I used to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. And then I have another question for you. How has the micro-profit system changed your life now compared to what it was like before when you were working? You know, you had 3 kids, then all of a sudden a 4th child. You know, how is it different now for you?
For me, I now, how's it changed my, it's completely changed my life. I mean, now I can be, I can stay home with my kids and not have, I guess, that financial stress,
Mm-hmm.
and having to think about, oh, how am I going to pay my power bill? How am I going to, pay this? My husband still works, but I actually have replaced both my old income and his current income with trading. So
Wow.
he's free to retire when he wants to, and he knows that. But he's very old school. Even though he's still in his 30s, but he is extremely hardworking. But I now go to do my shopping, my weekly shopping, and I don't have to worry about keeping a budget when I go shopping. And for me coming in and learning to trade, it was never about the luxury lifestyle. I've never been somebody who wanted to live in luxury. Again, I came from a very humble upbringing, and the luxury lifestyle just does not appeal to me. For me, it was more about, it was it was more about going to Kmart. For those who know what Kmart is, it's like Target. It's pretty much Target. For me, it was about going to Kmart and not having to keep a budget. Not having to stick to a budget when going there. And now, back in 2017, I would stick to a strict budget. A food budget, clothing budget for the kids and stuff. Now I go shopping and I do stick to a budget. But it's not because I have to, it's because I want to, and just little things like that are actually the massive, huge things in my life that have changed, not having to worry about that stuff. Another thing is, if anything ever did happen to my husband, and this was one of my biggest kind of fears, I guess, a lot of wives have the same thing, a lot of mums would have this fear, is that, if anything happened to my husband, I am now in a position where I can support my children, myself and my children financially, and so I don't have to worry about that financial stress if anything was to happen to my husband, and I can support my kids emotionally through that, through grief or whatever it was, if things crossed, if anything happened to my husband. And it's just little things like that, little things like, or little things people would see, like going to my kids' school events,
Yeah.
seeing how fast my second child actually is in a sprint, and things like that. That was the life change I was looking for, and that's exactly what iCoin Pro's given me. I can really be a mum now, and if we want to go to bed early, we can go to bed early. If we want to sleep in, in the weekends, we can sleep in without worrying about financial stuff or, all that financial stress. It's quite empowering. I feel free, if in a way, free from not being tied to anything, not having a boss. I actually have, it's funny, I actually have 4 bosses. My children, but not having to answer to anybody, not having to ask, hey, my kid's sick, I need the day off, just stuff like that, just not having to do little things like that. That's that is success to me. That's my success.
Awesome. Oh, well, that's so great, man. So. Oh, it's just so heartwarming to hear all this, Lee. It's so great. I mean, it's fun. And you're such a fun person to work with. I mean, always messaging. There's a whole group we have moderators for our Facebook group. Leah's in there, Lily, Dennis, Jay. And it's just, we just, every day we're just having fun. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it's so great. I feel like what we're doing for people and their lives and helping them out. And yeah, it's just a great time to be part of this company too, with everything that's happening. I mean, this company is really exploding. In fact, you actually just hit 3-star in iCoin Pro, which is one of our higher ranks that you actually just achieved just last month. So that was fantastic. So congratulations to you for doing that. So, and again, you're not a marketer. You just have, gotten the system down. You're just sharing your story and you're trying to help people. And that's all that it takes to really succeed, is just, put forward the honest effort. Like I tell people, treat this as a career path. Do not treat this as some sort of biz op. It's like a trade school, but a lot shorter. It's what it is.
Thing is that iCoin Pro, for me, iCoin Pro has never actually felt like I was in a business, and never felt like I was in the next, opportunity. I've always really looked at iCoin Pro as pretty much a trade school where I've come to learn, and the membership fee, was like fees that you would pay a university to come and study. So I've never, for me, and even to this day, iCoin Pro's never been a business opportunity for me. And now we're really just a big family.
Yeah. We're really empowering people, which is a great feeling. It's great to be part of something like this, so on a lot of levels. So, all right. In a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and let, if anybody has any questions for Lee, you can pop them in as a comment. We'll be able to see them on this video. So if you want to pop some questions in there, go ahead and do that. I got a couple more questions I'm going to ask her, but I just wanted to put that out there for everybody. And again, can we get a bunch of hearts for Lee? I mean, she is just so awesome. The amount that she gives back to the community, the amount that she helps people, everything like that. I want everybody to know how much she is truly, truly appreciated for everything that she does. Okay, so again, pop your questions in there in the comments if you have some questions for Lee, and we'll go ahead and cover those in a little bit here. All right, this is for people who are new. And again, if you're watching this video and you're really interested in the micro profit system and learning this and becoming part of our community, somebody may have shared this video with you, or they shared it on their timeline. Get back with that person. They will go ahead and get you the information, get you their website, so you can go in there and set up a free training account. That's how the whole journey begins now. You just get a free training account. You can learn your first money making strategy for free. You can start that whole process, the whole journey that Lee's been on now for 3 years. Which I think now it's a lot faster for people than, what I'm saying? We have so much that's here now for people to support them compared to 2017 when we were just beginning. But Lee, what do you think new people can expect when they join iCoin Pro?
What can you expect? You can absolutely expect transparent leaders or transparent owners in the company. I mean, Justin, he mentioned our group chats. We have group chats. I can message him privately and just say, hey, or ask him a question. He's in our forum daily, giving, and he gives daily market updates, and we have Paul, our CEO, who, although he's our CEO, he's become like family to me. So, I'll message him and say, hey, what are you doing? Or he'll message me, to check in. He's also in our forum. They're very accessible. And I hear so many times, I've seen it so many times online over the last 3 years that, hey, come join our program because I've met the owners and all of this and blah, blah, blah. But iCoin Pro, those in iCoin Pro, our members will tell you they actually, have conversations daily with our owners, and they're extremely active in the forum, in the members only forum, extremely, in our Zooms. So that's something you can really look forward to. Another thing newbies can also look forward to is our awesome community. We have a really, I would actually say one of the best communities, because I'm biased, but one of the best communities online. extremely supportive people. Lily and I do Zooms weekly, but we actually have a number of full-time traders at iCoin Pro who are extremely important, extremely helpful to our community. They're helping newbies out there. They're helping answer your questions. And then, we have an extremely, extremely amazing system. We've got, the micro profit system is just, as Justin said, when I first started the micro profit system, we back then we had great tools, to start with. And, but now, just seeing how the micro profit system has evolved, it is absolutely super simple, for people to learn, for newbies to come in and learn, but it's extremely effective when you're trading, these strategies. And so that's, and that's only, a little portion of what you've actually got to look forward to. We're fun. We're a fun community. We kind of joke around, and like I said, we're a big family. If you're coming into a family, we welcome you. We welcome anyone, into our family.
Oh, that's so awesome. Now, do you, in your experience now, because you've actually helped train lots and lots of people, do you think this system, the micro profit system, is something that anybody can learn?
To be honest, if I can learn it, anybody can. And I'm just, if I can come in as a complete newbie and know absolutely nothing, having not seen a chart, having not known what a candle is or a Bollinger Band is, anyone can actually learn it. And I say that quite confidently, because if you have a look, if I have a look at our members in iCoin Pro, majority, 90% of us had no idea what we were doing, or had no experience with trading.
Yeah.
And we've got so many professional traders in here now with the micro profit system. But yes, anyone can absolutely learn it. If you've got, if you're determined to really, learn something new or learn a skill, a lifelong skill, you can absolutely pick this up. Again, it's a simple system to learn. They take the hard work out, and with the tools that we have, but it's extremely effective on the exchange. And I tell you, I've enjoyed learning this. I've enjoyed helping others learn it, and I'm actually enjoying seeing, the progress that a lot of our traders are having, and witnessing, their journeys throughout the MPS journeys.
Wonderful, wonderful. All right. So Lee, I'm going to go ahead and give the disclaimer here. I'm going to give people a couple more seconds to ask some questions here on the video. So if you have any questions for Lee, please feel free to just pop them in the chat, and we'll go ahead and get those answered. But here's the disclaimer, because we want to we want to portray this accurately. There is risk in trading, of course. So you have to follow the system. You have to follow the guidelines, the rules. They're all there for a reason. Like I've said many, many times, the rules in the micro profit system come from my blood, sweat, and tears. The mistakes were made, and that's why we have the rules and the system that we have now. And it's so highly effective, But it's like I tell people when they come in, a lot of times once you start using it, you're like, wow, trading's pretty easy, right? Like it's simple. Yeah, I just do this and you squeeze bubble 1, 2, 3 money, and I nail it, and then I profit. And you can get a little bit kind of like overconfident, and you don't realize in trading you're actually like walking on a tightrope in high wind, blindfolded. Okay, so you can fall off, but you got to learn the system and you got to actually follow it. And that's how Lee is succeeding. That's how I'm succeeding. That's how everybody who's a micro profit system trader succeeds. Is we follow the system. All right, so here's the disclaimer. iCoin Pro, the iCoin Pro Trade Finder, and its trainers provide an informational service only and are not responsible for any investments made applying this information. The results described are not typical and are not guarantees of future income. Any investment contains risk and is 100% the responsibility of the investor to assess the risk rewards involved. It is possible to lose some or all of your investment. We assume no liability assumed or implied for your application of the information shared from the training programs. And I'll also drop this as a disclaimer below as a comment on this video, so you can read that. Okay, we do have one question in here. So Jacques asked this: Lee, do you work with the new Binance version or the old one?
I actually don't like the new version, the new Binance version, and that's the only reason I don't like the new Binance version is because it gives me nightmares of Bittrex, and and their kind of interface. So I still work with the old one. However, I have learned the new version, and it's pretty simple. If you trade on Bittrex, it's almost like Bittrex. I just don't like the look of it. I'm so used to using the old one, so I stick to the old one. Until they kick me off, or until they force us all to start using the new Binance, I'm going to stick to using the old one.
Awesome. Yeah, it's funny. They've kind of copied a layout from like Coinbase Pro, which a lot of our traders don't like. That's another exchange. Everybody likes the old Binance, or the old. It's still there, but that layout is honestly, everybody loves that layout. So okay, good. I'm not seeing any other questions in here, Lee. I'm seeing a lot of amazing comments here from Anthony. The importance of your sacrifice is truly an inspiration. Thank you, Lee. Let's see here. Let me see some of these other wonderful comments. Here's Lindley, who we all know really well. You're changing our lives too, sis. It's amazing. This guy, we know, Jay Pepitone. Oh, and Niels, who is a newer member to our family here, but he's really, I've seen Neil a lot of times. He's a lot of fun to work with and stuff. He says he wants to be you when he grows up.
It's funny because I hear this quite a lot. I see it quite a lot. And I get it in messages saying, hey, Lee, I want to be like, just like you when I grow up. But my response to that is, with the MPS, you can be yourself. You can be like Niels. Niels is going to be, just like Lee, when he grows up. Yeah. Well, thanks for being our teacher, Lee. Much appreciated. Thanks, Vinny.
Vinny is great. Yeah, Vinny, we're so happy you're here and learning and sharing this experience with all of us. So, well, awesome, Lee. This was fantastic. Thank you so much for doing this, and taking the time. I know everybody appreciates it. Again, feel free to share this video. And if you're watching this video and you're really interested in this system and learning it and becoming part of the iCoin Pro community and becoming part of the micro profit system, get back with the person who shared this video with you. They will be, more than happy to get you information so you can get started. You literally can get a free training account that you will learn a strategy that absolutely works. And here's Joven. He's another newer trader with the system. And anyway, you are an inspiration. Thank you, Joven. And Joven, you are rocking it. We're so happy to have you here as well. So, all right, great. Well, with that, everybody, we're going to go ahead and conclude this interview. Again, Lee, thank you so much. And for anybody watching this, get back with the person who shared this video. They will be more than happy we have a surprise visitor. My wife came on and was obviously watching this. Love hearing your story. So, that's so cool. Anyway, awesome. Great. We're reaching all corners of the globe now, even in the other bedroom here in the Clark household. So, anyway, all right, great. Well, everybody have a great day. Get back with the person who shared this video. They will get you the information. And Lee, thank you for everything that you do. And oh boy, we're looking forward to such a great 2020 here. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.